video. Until you've been married, you just don't. It's a lot of commitment, a lot of give and take. Yeah. And I like to do more taking sometimes. What? I'm happily single. I have my two beautiful boys, but I like myself. So many women are obsessed with relationships. I like to date myself. No, you don't. You are miserable. I mean, just off the rip saying you're miserable. You say you like to date yourself, but you are a main cast member on The Housewives of Atlanta, where you're chasing men. And I would say marriage is definitely hard when you're dealing with someone as self-obsessed as you. Not to mention your entire marriage was a central storyline on a reality show that's all about fights, shade, and personal branding. And no wonder why women are obsessed with relationship when your entire career thrives on cycling through men for drama. Oh my goodness. Why I think the show is more of a pose of Atlanta than Housewives, because real housewives are in the kitchen cooking food, not chasing cameras. Crickets. Freaking crickets. That's crazy. The way he had her speechless. But I like myself. So many women are obsessed with relationships. I like to date myself. No, you don't. You are miserable. I mean, just off the rip saying you're miserable. You say you like to date yourself, but you are a main cast member on The Housewives of Atlanta, where you're chasing men. And I would say marriage is definitely hard when you're dealing with someone as self-obsessed as you. Not to mention your entire marriage was a central storyline on a reality show that's all about fights, shade, and personal branding. And no wonder why women are obsessed with relationship when your entire career thrives on cycling through men for drama. Oh my goodness. Why I think the show is more of a pose of Atlanta than Housewives, because real housewives are in the kitchen cooking food, not chasing cameras. Crickets. Freaking crickets.
I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Ruach Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that teach us this truth. Shalom to the 144,000, the hopeful elect. Shalom to the 144,000, the 1/3. So, you basically heard it for yourself. You see how some of these Eves think, and they're thinking. Hope that this lesson is edifying to the Aqua, to the Aqua. I'm going to start off in Jeremiah 31:22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter of the Lord? Have created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. So when you look at stuff like that, as you look at these jobs, yeah, a lot of women have gotten fired from their jobs and stuff like that, but a lot of them have compassed a man. And a lot of women feel because they make more money than men, that means that they don't need a man. That means that they can do whatever they want. And that type of thinking has destroyed the family structure, and it has caused more harm than anything. But it also shows you how women can start having a bad attitude and think that they should be the ones to rule just because they might make more money than you. And that shows you the world that we are living in, that this world is very corrupt. I want to take you to Deuteronomy 28, and this is verse 56. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground, for delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil towards her husband and towards her bosom and towards her son and towards her daughter. So that shows you right there. And a lot of these women are evil towards their kids. They don't want to have nothing to do with them. They will leave them at a drop of a dime just so they can have their happiness. And this has been going on for over and over again. And you have even seen that some of these mothers will sleep with their own children's boyfriend. And you gotta say to yourself, what type of stuff is that that's going on? But this is the world that we live in. But this world is not going to be here forever. This is 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 6. Yeah, 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 6. Not and no vice, lest being lifted up with pride, he fall into the contamination of the devil. And that's what these women have done. They've been contaminated and have failed their wits to the devil. And that's who they side with. And they side with the system. The system that has corrupted them. Oh, I'm sorry, Salakia. That wasn't the right one. It's 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 6. That was 1 Timothy. For this sort are they which creepeth into houses and lead captive silly women, leading with sins, led away with diverse lusts. And see, there's some of these women that feel that they should be the rulers. Most of them end up picking stupid men that can't guide them, especially spiritually, and men that can't take care of them financially. And that always is happening in these bad neighborhoods. You will see that these women will go out with these men, and these men will lay them captive, and they're already burdened down with sins. And instead of trying to pick a good man, they just go for any of which man they can that's wicked. And then as soon as it brings them down, then they always say that they can't find a good man when they know where the good man is at. Read with me in Proverbs 30, chapter 30, verse 20. Such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth, and saith, I have done no wickedness. And that's what a lot of them do. They have no problem doing their wickedness. And that's when it says that she eateth, and a lot of them are overweight. And saying that a lot of them are overweight, they just go out there, eat with no care, and you try to tell them the things that they should do, and they put a lot of men on child support that should not be put on child support. And a lot of these women will set you up too. I seen a video last night how this young girl set up this boy, and these dudes broke into his house. And to see how these women will act. But they will say that they did no evil. And some of them have even killed their own children. And they will act like, oh, I was losing my mind, part of depression. I'm not saying that stuff ain't true. But what I'm basically trying to say is that sometimes they're not going through that. They're really just at their wicked way of doing something that's evil. This is Proverbs chapter 9, and I'm going to go into 13. This is Proverbs 9, verse 13. A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knoweth nothing. See, And a lot of these women think the ones, I'm talking about the ones that are foolish, they think they know everything, but they don't. They're very foolish. And since they are foolish, they make a lot of mistakes. And when they make these mistakes, that's when the problem comes in. But they'll be the first ones to say that they don't need a man or I can't find a good man. That's because they're foolish. And they're only going to remain that way until they find Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Turn with me to the book of Isaiah, chapter 3. This is chapter 3, and this is verses 16 and 17. Moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks, and wanting eyes, walking and making as they go, and making tinkling with their feet. Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover her secret parts. And if you see a lot of Eves out here, a lot of them don't have hair. See, that's a part of their sins that they don't want to accept and they can't take. That's why you see a lot of them with fake hair, and a lot of them have broken to these places of business, even with their children, to commit crimes just so they can get that fake hair. All because they were sinning. If they would just turn away from their sins and do what's right and accept their judgment, things will be better for them. But a lot of them just don't want to do that. They don't want to turn away from their sins. They want to keep doing their sins. And that's why things doesn't turn out right for them. I might make this be my last verse. This is I'm gonna turn to Proverbs. This is Proverbs chapter 7. And I'm going to read verses 10. And behold, there met him a woman with attire of an harlot, and substitute submittal of heart. See, that even shows you that these women can dress like harlots. And a lot of them, some of them that are not harlots, they dress like harlots. And it's hard to distinguish which one is actually good, because they think dressing like a harlot is a way of getting a man. But actually, if you want a good man, you must dress like a woman. A man is only going to respect a woman. He's not going to respect a harlot. No one is going to respect a harlot. No one. Harlots ain't going to get no roses and no candlelight dinners and bubble baths. If you want stuff like that, you have to look for a real man. So with that being said, I hope that this lesson was edifying to the Akim and to the Aqua. Basically, if you are a woman out there, you know how to carry yourself like a woman. So make sure that you do the utmost, and you men that's out there that's looking for a lady, you know exactly how to find that lady. And that's looking for a Proverbs 31 woman. And all you have to do is go to the book of Proverbs and read from Proverbs chapter 31, 10 down to 30. And you will see all the good deeds of a Proverbs 31 woman. Alright? That being said, Shalom.